Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's a Sunday night show because, it's Sunday night. Yeah, let's check that. It's definitely Sunday night. I'm Gav, and I'm delighted to be joined by Emma and Keith. Emma's been away walking, and when I say walking, he's been taking pictures of himself with walk trousers on and telling us he's walking. So we have to take him on face value. None of that messing from Keith. Keith fucked off for 2 weeks, and it turns out he's back about 10 days. I thought he was still away. He went, there must be nothing to talk about because no one's ringing me here. So he is back this week. Genuinely, last week, Keith, I thought you were still away, but turns out Keith went away, got burned to a crisp, came home, went to Belfast, stood in the wind, the rain, the snow, and come back sunburnt, which is... Keith, what the fuck's
Windborne.
going on? Windburn's a real thing, Keith.
Windborne, yeah. I was like a peppered army after it. Came back, I was in bits,
So
scorched,
hold on,
absolutely
you're the only
sizzled.
man on this island, right, that goes up the north for a game of football, I think it was, watch your son playing football, right?
Yeah.
It lashes rain, gale force winds,
Torrential rain, gale force wind.
and you come back and you went, I should have brought the Factor 50 with me.
It was a 2 day gig, right? And
Right.
I was laid down on the first day. So the young lad went with another parent, went up to it, and I followed. And they were all saying, wow, it's very warm and all that. And they all got up the next day scorched, big red heads on them. I says, oh, it must have been sunny. I didn't know that would be my fate later on that day as well. But on the plus side, I tried Chick-fil-A on the way home from Belfast.
Come on.
I'd highly recommend it for
Would
anyone
you?
that's
Is this
up
is this
north.
Chick-fil-A? Is this just in a garage somewhere on a motorway? Because
Yeah,
that's the way we
it
do
is. It's
shit.
an apple green on a motorway.
Yeah, we
Queues a
don't.
mile long. Queued up for about an hour. You have to queue up to order your food and then you queue up to collect it. It took about an hour. But in fairness, that's because all the Dublin teams coming back from the Belfast Cup were all in at the same time.
Right.
So they got bleeding upended,
Yeah.
with crowds going in. But it was lovely, well worth the spin.
Isn't that
Is it
how
near
the?
the Spruce Field roundabout? That's where all the tasty gear is. Slim Chickens from Liverpool, Gav.
Yeah,
Slim Chickens up on the
Slim
Spruce
Chickens is
Field roundabout.
fantastic.
Is that? Yeah, Slim Chickens is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's mad how we do things in Ireland, isn't it? We go, listen, our people, our companies go, listen, let's not go do the city centre. What we'll do is, right,
Test on
find
the
the
Brits
find the
first.
find the geo carriageway, right? Find the geo carriageway that's selling petrol, and we'll stick our restaurant in there. And if it's good, then we might stick it in the middle of Belfast or the middle of Dublin. That's the way it seems to go. But anyway, Jesus, fair play to you. Chick-fil-A, what? I wouldn't be waiting an hour for a fucking portion of chicken tenders. I'm not gonna lie to you, Keith.
Well, the kids were with me and they were the ones driving this endeavour.
Yeah.
Neither of them liked it, in fairness, but I did.
So you eat theirs?
No, because all the kids were there together. So I was sitting down with the parents eating me little burger and all my little waffle fry things. And they came down, didn't like them. Where had he threw them in the bin? Just
Ah,
for
for the
fuck's
love of
sake,
Jesus.
little bastards.
That's what the problem is now. Like, if you done that if we were kids and we threw stuff like that in the bin, you'd be grounded for a
No,
week. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
You'd be just made peeled
Absolutely.
potatoes for a week solid.
Yeah. The
Cut their
outfit be
hands off
standing
them.
over us, watching us eating every one of them,
Yeah,
making sure that everything is gone.
absolutely getting his money worth. Anyway,
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, if you're driving from Ireland to Northern Ireland to Ireland on that motorway, check it out. Keith recommends it. If you have 2 hours of your
Lovely.
time, just away for it. And then if you
Yeah.
have kids that don't fuck it in the bin, it's well worth going to. Right, Liverpool played in the Charity Shield / Community Shield today. 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace, beaten on penalties. Go on, Emma, I'll come to you first. Another good run out. I'm going to say exactly what I said every other pre-season game. I enjoyed it. I enjoy watching Liverpool play football. New lads coming in. All the old lads still there doing their stuff. A lot's being made. It's the Charity Shield. And, if you win it, you win it. If you don't, sort of thing. But I thought it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. Some standouts for Liverpool. Some that looked a bit... let's be honest, they looked a bit rusty still, I think. I think attacking wise, we look, like I said last week, at times it looks like a blow running up the pitch. They're moving that fast. And then other times it's like, lads, we probably need to be better at winning the breaking ball when it comes out of opposition's boxes. Stuff to work on, Emma, like every other team. They're all playing games this weekend. They probably all think they've stuff to work on. There's probably not a single Premier League fan out there that's going, yeah, our team is absolutely ready for next weekend. It's the way it goes in pre-season, isn't it?
I would probably argue that Crystal Palace are probably one of the few that maybe are ready to rock because they haven't really changed much
Yeah,
since last season. So it's
yeah,
you're nearly looking at a similar team that went into the FA Cup final and beat Man City. Look, Liverpool. it's been a bit of a preseason itself has been a little bit stop start between injuries, Van Dijk being sick. I think Van Dijk and Kanate only started one game in preseason prior to today together. Van Dijk was sick for 5 days. He said himself that's his first 90 minutes
Mm.
since I think it was the last day of the season. And did he actually took him off early the last day of the season, didn't he?
He might have.
Or was he? Did he start? Maybe he didn't start because he was going. He was going for the record of playing every minute or something like that. But look, I think it's great looking at the link-up play. We saw it in other games between Wirtz and Salah, which looked like it was a really good kind of duo that was building up. And then today we saw it early on between Ekitike and Wirtz, and what a touch Ekitike has for someone that's about 11 foot tall. Like,
Yeah, good for a big man.
is yeah, really, really good. So there's lots of positive signs. I think in some cases we're probably breaking too quick. There was times today where we were breaking so quick that if a Palace player got a nick on the ball, there was about five of them ran past them and then had to turn around and come back. But they'll all work all of that out. I think sometimes maybe even Frimpong is quicker than he even thinks himself because sometimes he kind of nearly runs by the ball. But it was great to see the link up play between them. Great to see Ekitike getting his first goal. Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives, a couple of negatives in there as well. But that'll all be worked on. It's like you said, it's nobody's perfect right now. I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't have like a behind closed doors game on Tuesday or something like that. In the lead up to Friday, maybe to get lads a little bit more up to speed. McAllister's really hasn't got many minutes into the legs. Probably saw that a little bit when he came on as well. But nothing overly concerning. I know there's heads falling off all over the place, and we need a centre back this and a centre back that.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
talk about that later. Yeah.
Van Dijk messed up a little bit today, but he did say it was 5 days sick. Like, and these boys take one day off and they lose their sharpness. So they'll work on that all this week, and they'll be where we want to be come Friday.
Emma mentions it there, key positives. There was positives in the game. I always say it, if you come out of these games and you've no injuries and there's minutes in the legs, that's the main positive I'm looking for. I would we'll get on to negatives in a bit because there is a few, and like Arne Slot's pointed it out. He hasn't gone we were excellent in both games against Bilbao for the 90 minutes. We were excellent against this. He actually said after Bilbao, look, we scored some good goals, but we need to do this, this and this. After the game today again, he says, look, positives are here, but there's some stuff we need to work on. And he's shifting a few players around in different positions, particularly in midfield. There's an awful lot of changing going on in there, but you have to get used to that as well if you're going to rotate a team throughout the season. But positive-wise, Keith, let's start with Ekitike, because he starts against Bilbao last week, and I really like what I've seen from a fella coming in and just going, listen, go on up front there and play, will you? It felt a bit like, do you remember Diaz came in? And when Diaz came in, they just went, listen, we're too far into the season here to be messing. We just go on out there and fucking do bits. And he was electric. Ekitike felt a bit like that for me last weekend, where it was like he was running channels, he was here, there and everywhere. But today, Keith, he was up front. And there was good, like Emmet said, he's a big fella, but good touch, good awareness around him, looking to link, has pace, willing to work. He was a real bright spot throughout whatever amount of minutes he was on the pitch. Really impressed by him in the first two games, particularly today.
Yeah, absolutely. And a young player that's still developing, which is the thing. I mean, a lot of us made the Jamie Carragher's comments the other day about why they want to be signing Isak and all that. Well, we do need another striker, it's clear. But having Ekitike there and having him score today was important, and go into the season hopefully with a bit of fire in his belly. It means we're not desperate for Alexander Isak. We do want him, and I do think we will get him, but we're not desperate because we have Ekitike, and he's one of the most highly rated young forwards in Europe. I think the best statistically under 23 forward in Europe last season, and you can see some of the qualities that he has. And look, he's not been with us a long time. He's still familiarising himself with the team, with the tactics, with the expectation, with the pressure, with the size of the club, which will only really come when the big games start rolling in. Not saying today isn't a big game, but at the end of the day, it's a friendly. It's not I'm not too upset. I want to win every game, don't get me wrong, but it was more, as you said, come out with that. The only injury scare we had today was when Gehi went off injured, because I do think we need more depth at the centre-half position. But I'm not overly concerned about some of the poor performances today from lads, because it was some of the big ones weren't great today, but it was Ekatike I thought was the standout. Wirtz looked good in the first half linking up run, but I think we really took a dip when Ekatike went off. I think he'll offer so much. He'll run the channels. He'll be a handful. He's got great control. He took his goal brilliantly.
Yeah, it was really good.
And a lot of people would have seen him, and maybe the only time they would have seen him was when they played Spurs last year in the Europa League, and he scored a cracker again in that game as well, when he ran from deep and just got to the edge of the box and side-footed one into the bottom corner as well. So he's a good player. He's got great technique. It'll be interesting to see what happens, when more additions come in, because when you look at it, I don't like Frimpong up front. I'm not a fan of that. So I do think we'll have to bring in, more attackers. Whether it's Engamoa plays to cover Salah if he's having a bad game, if it's other players, Chiesa or whatever, but we will have to bring more in, and it'll just mean competition for places. But I can see Liverpool this year being a bit more unpredictable, where, let's say, for example, Alexander Isak does come in, where we'll start games with Ekatike playing from the left. And he won't be a left winger, but he'll just be playing from the left and using that pace and that height. And as the game goes on, we'll drift into two up front. There'll be a lot of options there. I think he looks like what we all hoped Núñez would be. And it's early days. Núñez had a great Charity Shield when he signed for us, scored a great goal against Man City, wasn't it? And, ultimately, we'll talk about him, I'm sure, later. But, it wasn't a sure sign of what was to come. Ekatike looks like he has all the tools to be a really, really good forward for Liverpool, and exciting times ahead, I would say, but you just can't read too much into that game today. Can't read too much into it, because it's not the be-all and end-all. It's the Charity Shield. People can say it's the first cup trophy of the season. I was looking at a picture today of Ronnie Whelan and Steve Bruce sharing this bleeding thing a few years ago, so, it's not exactly a major trophy, in my opinion.
It's not a major trophy.
We want to win it. We wanted to win it. We don't want to lose.
You want to win every game.
Lose, because we'd rather be talking about a win tonight. But ultimately, you're not too upset about it.
No, see, the thing for me is that if Liverpool win that game 2-1 or win it on penalties and it goes the other way, you're kind of going, we're still having the exact same conversation. We're having the exact same conversation, saying he was good, he was a bit off, and look, I think it's more outside of Liverpool. People will go, "Oh, they lost the fucking game," but I remember when I was 12 as well. But Emmet,
I think with Ekatike as well, it's the unpredictability of what he's going to do, and I don't mean in a Núñez sense where it was kind of like all over the shop. And Keith kind of touched on it there. He can run down, he can run the channels, he can run in behind. But he's just as comfortable accepting the ball to his feet and holding off the defenders, which I thought was really, really good. Maybe not all the tools that Núñez has, but it's having a number 9 keeps it's not predictable, keeps the centre backs on their toes. Basically, he could pop up anywhere. There was also another one in the second half where he kind of was coming across the edge of the box as well, and I thought, oh shit, he's going to shoot here. Do you know what I mean? Young striker, just wants to score, and he tried to play Salah in. Again, in his early career with Liverpool, Núñez is just absolutely smashing them from absolutely everywhere. Ekatike just seems to have this kind of coolness and a kind of a calmness about him that was probably lacking in Núñez. But I'm really excited. I'm not going to say we don't need Alexander Isak. Everybody needs Alexander Isak. But these two can play together. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing with Ekatike, when he was at Frankfurt, it was his link-up play with Marmoush that really catapulted him, where Marmoush was there. So it's not that he's just a number 9 goal scorer. He's a creative player as well. He got so many assists. So, it'll be a good addition, definitely, to have to the team.
Yeah, look, I've been really impressed with him across different aspects of his game. Today, it was more like the goal he gets, or the assist he gets for Salah against Bilbao. I just loved. his awareness to slow down and then go, listen, put it in the gap there and I'm gone. And he stands the defender up and he goes past him and he doesn't pick Mo Salah out, but he puts it into a really good area. Whereas today it was a bit more intricate and touch here and touch there, and you see from the goal, it's a nice touch. It gets it back to him and he finishes it, and the keeper didn't have a hope because he placed it so well along the ground. Emmet, another positive was Florian Wirtz. When you look at this team and you think about transitions, people are going to, and this is going to happen, so mark it, they're going to turn around and say, well, when we have Wirtz there, we expected to win the second ball because does Wirtz do this and does Wirtz do that? He works extremely hard. And, I think Liverpool lost a bit of their shape at times when they start trying to change their formation. They start trying to change that kind of 4-2-2-2 stuff. I think someone mentioned in the chat earlier. Instead of this kind of 4-2-3-1, and they kind of mixed it around. And that's all probably pre-planned. Listen, we're going to do this and we're going to try that and whatever. But Wirtz, some of his touches, Emmet, you can just
come here.
You can just listen. He gets. Does he get that assist today? But the thing about him is, when he gets into his rhythm, like I think one of you said there, we're probably too fast and people are running by each other, and when that settles down and you start to know where each other's going, this fella has everything to just pick what he wants when he wants.
He's the ideal player to have playing behind the forwards. His touch is it's absolutely sickening to look at someone that's so good at football. Like when he passes the ball, you see several times today when he puts it out to Salah, like he puts it so that Salah doesn't even have to change stride. It's a player that can do that, and I know that like you probably don't even notice it, but like it's just his passes are just so precise, and it's not like somebody kind of having to check back to collect the ball. It's literally to where you want it, and forwards absolutely love that. But there's a little bit of snide in him as well. He's not afraid to put his foot in either. He gets himself about the pitch. He's dropping deep and picking up the ball. I heard somebody earlier on, I don't know if it was in one of the chats or something, comparing him to being a little bit like Thiago with kind of how he moves around, but he just glides around the place and makes it look so effortless. He's an absolutely beautiful footballer, and I cannot wait. Like you just said there, I cannot wait until it all clicks, because I think we're going to see some special moments from Liverpool this year involving Florian Wirtz, and I probably always gamble responsibly, by the way, but I wouldn't be opposed to throwing a sneaky 5 or a 10 on him being Premier League player of the season. He looks, calling that early.
He looks so good. Avo there says Wirtz faded in the second half. Wharton kept him quiet. Yeah, he did. And again, I've no major issue with that. These boys are all tracked within an inch of their life when it comes to how far they're running, what they're doing. What work they've done the day before, what they're probably given a thing and told before the game, this is what we expect from you in this game. You don't have to go for the 90. We put this in for this, put this in for that, and then we go from there. And, it's all about getting right for Friday. Like I've seen Liverpool teams go through pre-seasons and they're absolutely terrible. And then they go and they're brilliant, or they're absolutely brilliant in pre-season and they're fucking shy. You know what I mean? I'm more so brilliant in pre-season than shy, let's be honest about it. But I really liked what I seen from Wirtz, and again, changes in formation, changes of players coming in. They're all new to each other. They're all playing their probably second game with each other. So,
no Gravenberch there either, who's going to possibly be
no Gravenberch.
90% of the time is going to be our 6. Like,
yeah, McAllister's not fully fit, but he'll probably play on Friday. Considering Gravenberch can play, but I thought he was a real positive. Frimpong as well, I thought it was a positive. He gets the goal. It's a bit fortuitous for me, but listen, he makes the run. He commits a defender. He tries to put him across the box. It happens to go in. Grand. The negatives, Keith. I've seen thrown out a few negatives with regards to Kerkis, but defensively I thought he was absolutely fine. But I was watching it earlier. It was actually Sean. He said something in a chat where he said he's constantly facing his own goal, or constantly facing inside, when he's collecting the ball. And I actually start thinking to myself, is this a deliberate thing?
Yeah.
It feels to me like he's very much, when I get the ball, I'm not losing it. This is the safe space over here where we keep the ball, we move it, whether it's slow, fast, keep it, short pass, longer passes. This is like the safe space, Keith. And where you see Frimpong opens his body out and is like, right, we're all going, lads. Kerkez seems to have a much more reserved role here, because I expect to see Kerkez go absolutely bombing up and down the place, but he's not. And I don't think, maybe it's a negative overall with the way the team played, and that's our outlook as to what we're doing with him at the moment. Maybe people can see that as a negative, but overall I thought he was fine defensively.
Yeah, I thought he was okay, to be honest. I get what Shawnee's point was, but I just felt that it was a case of, and Pierce Richmond says it there, when I think we'll see a lot of Gravenberg dropping in between the centre backs and the full backs bomb on, whereas we didn't have that today. So you have sort of maybe a case of one has to be a bit more reserved, because he looked like he was sitting back and not bombing forward as much as we would have seen with Bournemouth and as much as we would have expected. So look, I think I wouldn't be too concerned about Kerkez's performance. I think he's a good player. He looks like he has an engine. In the second half, he made a few good runs up the wing and set Salah up for a shot as well, with some great play. So look, we'll see a lot of positives from him. We will see a lot of positives from Frimpong. You can see the sort of skills that they will bring to the team. But I thought Kerkez, he done well. I didn't do well. We didn't do bad. I thought he was, a classic 6, 7 out of 10. Nearly a Steve Finnan, done the job. Maybe people's expectations were one thing, and we saw something else. I didn't think he was bad. I thought, and I'll be honest, I didn't think Gakpo was great today. Didn't like him at all. And I don't know if that maybe impacted Kerkez.
You see, when I look at the likes of Gakpo, and even Engamo doesn't get any game time, and I have no problem with that either. I don't think you can keep throwing this young fella in all the time. I'd say it's very planned again as to where they might want to use them. The hardest bit on the pitch for me is when you're attacking and lads are making runs and different that, and picking them out and seeing where people are going. And we've just spoken about Verts when he starts to see these and people start to slow down a bit and go, listen, we don't have to be a million miles an hour. The million miles an hour is great, by the way, but at times, like, a more intelligent run rather than trying to pierce through defensive runs. And I think Gakpo struggled a bit with that today. He got out on a couple of occasions. He was neat and tidy, don't get me wrong. But I think a couple of times he looked a bit hesitant. Is he going to run there? Is he going to make a run to clear space for me? And he looked a bit hesitant at times. I think he's a massive outlet for us, Gakpo, because of his physicality. And we will use it. We love nothing more than pinning Gakpo up against a fullback and going, listen, you don't need to run by him. You don't need to beat him. Just pin yourself against him. And we'll play off that. And he's strong. Again, it's pre-season. I expect him to start on Friday. And it's a whole new attitude come Friday. It really is. Like, and you'll see it sharper and stuff. We've spoken on.
The thing about Kerkez as well is just everybody's expecting him to be that cavalier player that was for Bournemouth, when he was probably Bournemouth's main outlet. We've got both sides. So, and I think we've seen it through pre-season that Kerkez is normally the one that kind of nearly stays home. But like Keith says, you do see him let loose a little bit in the second half. And he gets forward a few times. Salah really should score, but I think we're going to see it like it's not going. I don't think it's going to be like it was under Klopp, where it's Robertson and Frimpong and Bradley bombing forward all the time. I think it'd be fairly conservative, and you go for this 10 minutes, I'll go for the next 10 minutes, kind of a job. But against Bournemouth, he was just up and down constantly. I don't think we're going to see that out of him with us.
Antico says, Gav, can you make sure certain journals comparing us booing the national anthem to the Jota minute silence and saying, listen, I'm not going to be get into this for too long, because I don't think the people involved today deserve to be mentioned for too long. I.e., well, look, Liverpool boo the national anthem at Wembley all the time, right? Yeah. And if you don't know the reasons why, I can't help you. Okay?
And you shouldn't be commenting on it.
I simply can't help you, right? I would suggest, I'm going to give Crystal Palace a bit of the benefit of the doubt here, not all of them, but I would suggest a vast majority of Crystal Palace fans, by watching that today on TV or at the game, wouldn't be too impressed with what happened during the minute silence for Jota. Liverpool boo the national anthem. It goes on all the time, and every time they turn up at Wembley, they boo it, and every time they do, the media makes a big circus of it as to, well, look at Liverpool, why are they doing this, and everyone knows why they do that. Okay, if you go back and read your history with regards to Liverpool, the city, and the football club, in terms of the government, in the UK, you'll understand why Liverpool do. And I can't say any more than that. I really can't. I'm not here to educate people. If you want to go back and look at it, please do. But at the back end of last season, Liverpool come out onto the pitch at Anfield to a guard of honour from Crystal Palace and returned the favour, because Crystal Palace had won the FA Cup the week before, and it was seen as a really good sporting gesture between two clubs that had won 2 trophies. And I thought the relationship between the two clubs was excellent. How Crystal Palace fans can not understand why Liverpool boo the national anthem and then decide that they're going to mock a minute silence for a Liverpool player that's passed away 5 odd weeks ago, and think that's okay, is beyond me. And I'm going to say, any Crystal Palace fans that I come across online are usually okay. Crystal Palace fans overall, absolutely fine. I remember being at Anfield in 1998, and Crystal Palace had Attilio Lombardo playing for them, and they were fucking brutal, and Liverpool beat them, and their crowd was fantastic that day, fantastic, and I always remember that. And the booing today was left a really, really sour taste. I think at times, I think Crystal Palace could have turned around and went, look, let them boo if they want to boo, but we're not going to. If we don't understand it or we don't agree with it, this is a separate matter. And look, it was very unfortunate. It lacked class for me. And people will say, well, Liverpool lacked class with the national anthem. If you think that, that's absolutely fine. But at the end of the day, Diogo Jota passed away as a Liverpool player 5 weeks ago. And Liverpool are trying their best as a football club, as a team, as a management, as a football club, as a fan base, to deal with that and do their best to honour his memory as best they can. And I don't think we're not going to have minute silence before every game all season. We are doing this to mark the Charity Shield, and we'll probably do it to mark our first league game. And what happened today was really, really poor, in my opinion. And for people to turn around and say, and I've seen it, so I know they've said it, for people to turn around and say, well, you built the national anthem, that's just the lack of education is fucking phenomenal, in my opinion.
I was disappointed because, like, more than not, Crystal Palace fans tend to be, they don't do the tragedy chanting. There's very few of them that don't, but I always remember that Crystal Palace aren't. Selhurst Park is an awful place to go. They always have the place absolutely hopping. As a fan base in general, I think they're probably one of the better ones. So it was a little bit disappointing to hear that today. And I agree with you, Gav. To draw comparisons between the two is absolutely a joke. And that's all you're seeing tit for tat online now is because, and I think I put it into our chat. I said, I'm calling it now. They'll say it was because you booed the national anthem, and it was an absolute joke.
And the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, but that's just a turn of phrase. The thing is with this is that when you go back and look at what Liverpool are booing the national anthem over, and the people in power and the whatever you want to call it, when you look back at the reasons why they're doing it, they line up quite well with what a lot of people in the UK give out about the government now and the state it's in, and the way they're treated and the way they're overlooked and all this sort of thing. And if you actually, it's funny because people beyond that will probably tomorrow, I always say it, will probably tomorrow be giving out and giving the exact same argument that Liverpool fans are given for the last 50 years now at this stage. Going back to Thatcher anyway. But look, it's extremely unfortunate. We're not going to go any further into it. We leave it there. Crystal Palace want to be that way. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Davey T is in the chat. He says, a minute's silence is always vulnerable to morons. I couldn't agree more. That's why a minute's applause is more, let's say, safe. Yeah, I get that. But listen, yeah, look, leave them to it. Liverpool fans know that they done a tribute to Diogo Jota today, and they kept their part, and we leave it at that. We've done some positives, we've done some negatives. Before we get into incomings, outgoings, whatever it might be, because that's what people are asking us about a lot in the chat. Keith, overall, we're 5 days out from the season now. Overall, where are you with this? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you pessimistic? Where are you?
Well, I'm excited, Gav. I don't know how people can really look and think after the summer we've had, minus obviously the Jota thing, which we don't know. That's the unknown in the whole thing. But business-wise, we've done excellent stuff, and everyone in the chat's talking about Indy has dropped a bomber that we're going to be bidding for Alexander Isak in the next 72 hours. 72 hours.
He narrowed that down, hasn't he?
Yeah, nice one. But it's going to take time. People have to remember, like, everybody will say they're worried, you make a lot of signings, it's hard to bet in. But on the other hand, you don't win the Charity Shield and everyone loses their shit. It will take time for the boys to settle into the league. It's physical. We saw Florian Wirtz today. I thought he looked fucking magnificent in the first half for his touches. And he got lumped a few times and, didn't get a few free kicks that he might have got before in Germany. Welcome to Chris Kavanagh's world. And there's more to them, by the way. But it will be a physical league. It will be a fast league. He's going to be playing in a new role because we're seeing a lot of idiots online saying he will only play left wing for Liverpool, and today he plays in the 10. So we'll play different positions for Liverpool. It will take time for the likes of Wirtz to come in and settle. Frimpong grew up in the Man City system. He'll be used to it to an extent. Kirk has had a year or 2 years at Bournemouth. He'll be used to it. Ekatike will take a while to settle down as well. So, look, you have to be excited going in when you look at those players that we've named there. We've also brought in a keeper, Mamardashvili, who looks absolutely brilliant as well, in the sense that if you lose Alisson, which can happen, we've seen over the last couple of years that you're bringing in a player that looks good, and we're nearly, future-proof in that position as well. So Liverpool are doing all the right things, that they're doing everything correct. And people probably have to be patient in that there will be games when Wirtz probably stinks the gaff out. I mean, going back to stinkers today, Mohamed Salah, my God, terrible. Absolute bag of shy. Virgil van Dijk, shy. But they've credit in the bank. So let's just bleed. And, good players have bad games.
Yeah, you see, like, Salah's a fucking assassin, lads. Like, Salah's probably going, I'm not getting injured here. Fuck this. Do you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. He was quiet, touch a bit off the penalty, whatever. Like, we can have a laugh about that. Like, is he off the penalties? I think he has to be off them. If you miss 2, you should be off them. Do you know what I mean?
He's dirt. He's always been punks.
We probably need to go back to makers, takers, lads. Whoever gets the foul gets to take it.
Well, the best penalty we took in that shootout was Szoboszlai's, and Szoboszlai's an excellent penalty taker. So
yeah, and
I've always championed him on McAllister, but he fucking missed.
I don't think has Szoboszlai missed a penalty. I don't think he's ever missed one.
Yeah, he's
I'm not too sure.
He's fairly confident about it as well. The one thing I liked about, well, not so much liked about Salah today, because he was quiet. The commentary was very good. I think it might have been Ali McCoist on the station I was watching. The man said that Salah's only had 6 touches in this half or something, and McCoist said, but we've all seen what he can do with his 7th touch, just one touch. But what was really kind of refreshing today is I kind of found myself. You've got Wirtz, you've got Ekatike, and Frimpong obviously as well, and it was like there was no real reliance on Salah, whereas in previous years it was get the ball to Salah, get the ball to Salah, get the ball to Salah. Like, do you know what I mean? We felt it felt safer. It wasn't an over reliance on him, and not that you forgot that he was. Well, there was times where you probably did forget he was playing, but there wasn't that over reliance on him, and that kind of felt good. That we're a danger from other areas of the pitch. We were sporadically dangerous, I would suggest, from other areas of the pitch last season, but this season it just feels like he can go on a run of 5 or 6 games without scoring a goal, and we're probably still going to be all right. And that kind of makes you feel a little bit better, a little bit more secure.
Well, I'm betting me bollocks on him scoring in the first game on Friday.
From a penalty.
Yeah.
Look, I'm really excited about the season. I don't see why there's any reason not to be. We're going to get into the ins and outs in a minute because people are saying we're short of depth and we're this and that. And that's very valid. It's probably, I think it is a valid point. We've had an unbelievable transfer window with regards to the players we brought in. I think we just need those finishing touches now where you go, yeah, that's perfect, My only concern at the minute is winning ball off them high up the pitch on a break. I think Gravenberch and McAllister, I think Gravenberch is just so quick across the ground, etc., etc. And McAllister's just great where he goes. You're not going by me. I might have taken the ball off you. You're getting taken down. And that's the end of it.
McAllister's great at just getting in and ratting the
ball. Yeah.
It's
a bit of snide about them, and I think that's something that Slot will definitely have to work on. You do. The only thing I would say is that when you're looking at games like today, you do wonder, are they going at 100% here? Are they going that extra step to break something up? Are they going that extra yard to intercept, whatever it might be? And that'll only be shown when we play Bournemouth and we get into the run of league games. That's my only concern, because it is a change in midfield. That's when you look at the midfield last season, Gravenberch was excellent, coming deep, taking the ball, dropping the shoulder, freeing up players. We are really good at snapping into stuff, whether it was a Szoboszlai, even a Jones, McAllister. We are really good at snapping into stuff and working hard and not letting people get at us. But it's a different kind of outlook for me this season. I think the two, it's going to be 2 lads deep, and I think they have to be really good at what they do. And look, the shape ahead of them will find its way into knowing where to protect the team as well. That'll come. You can't do it like in we've had a good pre-season and players have been in early enough, but there's still players leaving and different things, and that'll come. But I said it last week, if Liverpool find a way of, listen, we're doing that wrong, this is what we need to do, and I'm sure Arne Slot knows this, like, he's not a fucking idiot, and he doesn't need advice from me or any of us, but I'm sure if he looks and says, look, we just need to do this, and to get that right, and we expose ourselves less. I said it last week, if we get that right, I said, I don't think anyone stops this Liverpool side. I think they could be that good, both in domestically and in Europe. But it's really exciting. Like one of you said there, we're not heavily relying on Salah. Jeez, I want them to score all the goals in the world. But to have different outlets where teams have to worry. And what we need to do is, when we worry them, we need to stop giving them an easy out. Winning that second ball. Is our 2 men a little bit deep because Wirtz has gone so far? Are we compressing the pitch enough? All things like that. But I'm happy enough they'll find their way to what they're doing. And I expect to see a completely different kind of tempo and attitude to Liverpool come Friday anyway. Ins and outs. So let me start with this. Right, before we get into names or anything else, I've asked you how you are with the season, you're excited, etc. Emma,
yeah.
I don't want any names from you.
Okay.
Right, for the minute. I want to know by the 1st of September, when that window closes, I think it's the 4th of September, when that closes, forget outs for a minute. What do you want to see come into Liverpool between now and then?
2 attackers and a centre-back.
Do you think it's doable? Without mentioning names, do you think it's doable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, last week I was 2 centre backs and an attacker. This week I'm 2. I mean, in an ideal world, in an ideal world, I'll have 2 of each, please, Bob.
Yeah.
But yes, I would prefer 2 attackers and a centre back.
Okay. Keith,
I agree. I think we will see movement. Davey T, cover your ears in that chat. I think we'll see movement on Isak. I think Liverpool will bring in Alexander Isak, and I think they need to bring in a centre back. And after that, I would be looking at another attacking player and moving Chiesa on. I'd be looking. Rio Engamoa looks so exciting, and I wouldn't be looking to, as people say, block his pathway into the team. I'd be looking to use him this season because I think his pace and his direct running and skills will be made for, breaking down teams or putting on games. But I think we need another player that can play wide, because let's say, for example, Gakpo isn't having a great game. Look, I didn't think he did today. Mo Salah doesn't tend to be taken off. We need to have options that are there. And we're seeing links. I mean, Julian Laurent came out and said that Liverpool bid for Bradley Barcola or inquired about him on Wednesday. There must be something concrete in it. Like, he's fairly reliable on the PSG side or on the Paris side of things. There's links with Rodrigo still there that won't go away. Malik Fofana has quieted down, but they do seem to be still linked with wide players. I think they will bring. The priority for me would be get Isak done and get Guehi done, because I would go for him. I think he's brilliant.
Gav said not to mention any names, Keith.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He's sunburned, he's sunstroke, don't mind him.
Yeah, I forgot. That's the old sunstroke got to me there.
And the rain in your eyes.
Exactly, yeah. The wind in my ears, couldn't hear you. No, but they're the calibre of player that I would be looking to do. I would be looking to bring in a centre forward, a centre back, and then I would start, and we're not going to do this, but I would maybe be looking at a second centre back for a young player. I'm going to name another name, the lad off Parma, right?
Leone.
Giovanni Leone. That everybody, he looks deadly, but it's going to be a lot of money to get him.
40 million euros.
Yeah, but I think he's one of them. If they, and look, who knows what they think, but if you think he's a generational talent at centre back, and nobody is saying he is, but I'm just using this as an example, you go out and you spend that money now. Is it enough to do him without doing, let's say, Guehi? I don't think it is. I think we need to do an experienced player as well. So in an ideal world, I do both of them, and I would do a centre forward and a winger, because I think we have an issue at defence where next season's going to be a lot of work needed to be done on it. So I think we need to start getting ahead of that, getting out in front of it, or do we leave it as a whole rebuild next year? Because Van Dijk could be 34, Gomez just picks up injury after an injury, Konate could be gone on a free. That's all our centre-backs gone. So I think there's
35. He's 34 now.
Really? Is he? Jesus,
Yeah.
I thought he was only gone 33.
Yeah. How did I checked the other day.
But there you go. So I think there's a lot of work needed in the defence. So I would do two centre-backs now. I'd be giving Blade and Konate the money to stay as well, and trying to then, limit the amount of work you have to do next summer. Because I think you can put a midfield in, and they can, as we done with Gravenberg, with McAllister, with Szoboszlai, with Endo, and it worked. I don't think we'll strike lightning in a bottle twice where we're trying to sign 4 centre-backs and get them to work, So I think we do need to start future planning that position, that area. But I would like to see us bring in maybe a young winger to compete with Engamoa, but not block him. Like Malik Fofana looks good. He can play off both sides. He can cover for Salah. Engamoa can still get minutes. Another centre forward, because we need 2 and 2 centre backs. That's what I'd be doing.
Ashley says, in an ideal world, I would like 1 senior centre back, 1 youth centre back, Isak, and a versatile forward. I think an awful lot. I put that up because an awful lot people in the chat are very much of the same opinion. I don't think there's a chance we sign 2 centre backs.
No, not for that money.
I don't think there's a chance we sign 2 centre backs. I think, and listen, I'm liking the idea. I don't know this lad Leone. Right, he plays for Parma.
Just to point out, Jonathan in the chat says that Keith called him a generational talent. He said, "I'm not calling him a generational talent."
No, okay.
But his YouTube is impressive.
Yeah. I literally said, I'm not saying he's a generational talent.
Yeah.
I said, if they feel if they feel he's a player that at that age that can be a Van Dijk replacement, which is what he's being described as, then you go out and sign him now and you splash the cash. I'm not saying it's
Get him
generation.
in early and
Don't
try
sign
and
him up
play
now.
the Italian out of him
Yeah,
because the
exactly.
Italian
Yeah,
thing still scares
yeah,
the shit
Cut the
out of me.
mother's apron strings as
I know
early as
you're a
possible.
quarter Italian, Gav. Sorry, but
yeah.
yeah, just get him in early and play that
No,
out.
I
Of him.
know, I
Get him
know.
playing by Bradford or something.
The, I'm not look. I don't know anything about this Leone fella, right? I'm not watching YouTube compilations of him. I'm really interested in the music that was accompanied the YouTube thing because it's usually really good Euro pop, and I think if Jonathan says he's calling him a generational talent
Oh,
after my
sorry.
scouting on YouTube, so stick that up your bollocks, Emma, right? Uh,
Apologies, Jonathan.
Apologies, Jonathan. Yeah, that's all we can do, really. Apologise on Emma's behalf for Emma, and Emma's done it himself, so we're past it now. We're moving on. I don't know what about him. If Liverpool, like you said, if Liverpool feel like it's good value in the market for him, I don't see an issue. I think he would be one where if you are signing him, you're not signing him and going, yeah, look, centre back. Like Ashley mentions there, versatile forward, a senior centre back. A senior centre back is Mark Way. And come on, like it's as plain as the nose in your face that Liverpool want Mark Way. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. He's been
I think
so
it's as
heavily
plain
linked
as
with
the
him.
nose on your face that Parrish knows he's going to Liverpool as well from the way he was embracing him after the game.
Yeah,
He was over exuberant with other players like
yeah,
Eze and Wharton and the likes of that, and it was kind of half muted with
yeah.
Guay up on the steps.
I just don't see us doing two centre backs. I think we'll do Guay, and I think we'll go with Guay, Gomez, Kanate, and Van Dijk. But I'm not against them signing this Leone lad, and that would be off, fucking someone else. Like, I don't know anything about him. In the forward sense, I think they do Alexander Isak. I think, again, we'll get on to Luke Edwards and the Luke Edwards Ultras now in a minute, but I think it's so obvious that he's going to go to Liverpool. I think I'd be absolutely amazed if he doesn't sign with Liverpool at this stage, right? But when it comes to a versatile forward, I don't know if they go to Malik Fofana, your man off Southampton, Dibbling, is that his name? I don't know if they go down that route. I think they might go for someone a little bit older than that is versatile, that would kind of know their role within the squad, because especially if you're going to play off the right, you have to know your role in the squad. And I don't know who that is. I still have a feeling that he signs Isak and he leaves it as is, and he gets rid of Chiesa, by the way. I still think they might do that. He doesn't like a massively big squad. I don't think he likes a massively big squad. You've seen it last season. Now, maybe that was down to trust.
That only leaves you with 5, with Engamawa being one of them.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not very much, and unless they do look
I think he's gonna go against what you are thinking, and I think he's going to use Frimpong there at times. I genuinely do. Now,
I don't like it.
Listen, I'm not saying you should definitely do this, you should definitely do that. If you're telling me he signs Alexander Isak and one of these lads you've mentioned up front, and then he fucking signs Guay and he signs that lad Leone, I'm going to go, yeah, fucking great. I'm all for it. I just don't know if they do. It feels like an awful lot. That's another 4 players, lads, in the next 3 weeks. It feels
I
like
think
an
he's
awful lot.
more likely to go with Frimpong in the right wing position. Well, sorry, I would be more inclined to go with Frimpong as cover on the right wing position if Bradley had a better track record when it comes to injuries. So what's the most games? Somebody, probably Ashley, will tell us what's the most games that Bradley has played in a season. He's not played that many games to expect him to be fit all the time. I know they're probably going to rotate him, but what happens when you get to December? Salah's off the AFCON and Bradley goes down with an injury. Who are you playing on the right wing then? Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think we need less kind of Swiss Army knives and more kind of out and out. These are your 6 attackers, with Engamawa being your 6th one, basically.
Elliot,
I think that's what we had last year, 6.
yeah.
And they're obviously more reliable than the likes of Nunez and stuff like that. But I think two. Like I said, I was two centre backs, one forward, but now I'm two forwards. Like we saw what happened
Yeah,
today when
maybe.
Ekatike came off, it just went to shite.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
see, if you're signing Isak, you're looking at Ekatike and Isak and Ekatike can go off the left and whatever else, right? Maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is gonna like Elliot feels like to me like. Listen, we've done our business in the middle of the pitch. We've done our business in that midfield, stroke attacking midfield, and he's going to be the recoup of money, right? And that feels like that's
I
going to
thought
be.
he was excellent today when he came on, by the way.
Yeah, I see. I did as well. But the thing is,
Usually is.
no matter how good he is, I think this all comes down to how much does he want to play and how much minutes can we give him.
Yeah.
I think I still argue there's a spot in the squad for him. I said it last week. I'd have him in the squad before Endo. Simply the way we were looking to play and stuff. But
Or
people,
Endo.
yeah.
It's not- No way.
I would, yeah. I would 100%. The way we're playing, Endo's not going to
Elliot
play.
at centre back in
No.
November.
I'm not. No, I don't mean in that sense. I think he brings more value to the squad in what he could offer for what we're looking for than Endo. That's just, and I'm not lashing Endo out. That's just my
Sounds
opinion.
like you are.
No, I'm not.
Prick.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I think
Shite
when you look
bag.
at Elliot, you think of Elliot and you can say to yourself, if you're taking Verts off, I wouldn't mind putting an Elliot in there. Do you know what I mean?
We said
Whereas,
this last season, but where we thought Szoboszlai and Elliott would have rotated in that position as well. And I know he got injured early on, but we just didn't see enough of Elliott. So does he have Arne Slot's trust? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to keep him and never see him. You know that way. So I'm a big fan of Elliott. I think he's brilliant, and I'd keep him personally as well. But I can see the logic of selling him because
yeah,
it's a big
he's the
offer on a
I think he's
player.
I think he's the recoup of money.
Yeah,
So what I think is, if Chiesa does go and look again, I'd be amazed if Chiesa doesn't leave the football club. Maybe they do go and say, right, okay, he's gone. Let's bring someone else in. And if that's okay, or if that's what's happening, brilliant. I'm not against that. I'm just trying to think how are they thinking? How are they going to put this together? Because up front, especially, I think you're going to have. There has to be two. There has to be at least two of the six that know they are backup in inverted commas.
I'd keep Chiesa. Absolutely keep
But
him
he's
and
never
play
playing
him.
him. He's never.
I know, but
He's no
I
value to
would
us.
I would hope that it was a fitness thing that they're looking to get over because he should have been out the gap by now if they were getting rid of him. He should have been the first one out the bleeding door.
I think he'll end up going to Atalanta.
I think he will be a player that if he stays, for example, I thought he looked better. For example, he played off the left a couple of times. Came on and played from the left a couple of times and looked dangerous last year. He can play through the centre. I would keep Chiesa as a striking option with Engamoa because he's a player that won't block Engamoa, if you get me. And we'll see next year how Engamoa develops, and then we can sort of go from there. That's what I would do. I would bring in Isak. I would keep the four then that we have there. There's a four. Hold on, it's the Gakpo, Salah, Ekatike. I'd bring in Isak. I'd keep Chiesa, and I'd have Engamo, and that'd be the six. That's if we're not going to buy someone now. I wouldn't go with less, if you get me. So I'd rather keep Chiesa than go with five, with Engamoa being one of the five. I think Engamoa needs to be the sixth option rather than, and I just don't rate Frimpong as don't get me wrong, I think he's excellent and I think he's a great attacking fullback, but I don't want to play too much with him as the right winger. And I know it's been said that he will play there and cover Salah, Jordan Afcon. And we saw during the pre-season where I think Szoboszlai went into right back at one stage. We've seen Curtis Jones go to right back. We've seen Endo go to right back. So it might be a thing that if Bradley is injured, the right back will be one of them rather than be Frimpong. So only time will tell on that. We've players that can do that right wing slot if needed. So Szoboszlai could do it, Jones could do it, Elliot could do it.
But every time we talk about that right wing, we always talk about he could be a cover there or he could be a cover there. And Brian O'Halloran says you need 5 prime age guys to rotate with and a kid or veteran as the 6th, right? I think it's difficult to bring a player in because let's be honest, if we're bringing a player in, we're all thinking right wing here. We're all thinking cover right wing. But how, for me, do you bring in someone that's going to be enough quality to cover this fella when he goes away? But also know that when if Salah's on one leg, he's playing. That's where I think the difficulty comes from. And look, is there an argument around Chiesa staying? I don't think there's too much of him.
I don't
You
think he
could keep
stays.
him. You could keep him, but he's not using them at all.
No.
He's just not
If he
using
stays,
them.
it's only because of his son.
Do you know what I mean?
Which is a lot to be said for the song. We've already lost Lucho's song.
I think if there was any chance that he was going to be staying, he would have played a little bit, a tiny bit more in pre-season. Let's just say he would have featured today, I would imagine.
He was on the bench today, which was...
Yeah, but like you're taking off Ekatike, and I think Ekatike went off, and Endo
Ekatike and Jones,
McAllister came
wasn't
on.
it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So like, why weren't you trying to swap Ekatike out like for like? Like, do you know what I mean?
True.
I don't envisage him staying at all. Plus, he's on 150 grand a week. Like, feck that.
Yeah.
So you're not paying someone 150 grand a week to not play them.
Yeah.
I just think Engamo has to be the sixth option.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
You know,
yeah.
So whatever way that balance
But
is
then
out.
maybe
You know
you're
what?
leaning
The
towards more what you said, Gav, like maybe an experienced player that knows their role really, but can still do it. Can still cut
Mark
the mustard,
Albright
like.
or something.
I think if you get the more we talk here now, the more I think I'm kind of changing my opinion on it, because I think I do feel like 4 players an awful lot to do in the next 3 weeks. But if you bring in your Isak and you bring in your Guehi, then you can say to yourself, right, let's bring someone in that's not quite Engamoa 17, but they're not Chiesa, not being fucking used at all. Let's bring in someone in that's 21, 22, and you can sell the future to them in a year's time, and whatever it might be. And at centre half, you can sell, you know, the whole centre back project to a Leone or Parma, to say to them, look, we've got rid of Quanta, we rate you, we want to bring you in. Joe Gomez is probably going his last season at Liverpool. You know, Kanate still hasn't signed the deal. There's a pathway there for you. Virgil van Dijk in 2 years' time might sign another contract, but it's going to be the last one. I'm not asking the player to wait around for 4 fucking years on Virgil van Dijk to fuck off. But you might be able to... It's about the type of player you bring in. You know, we'd all love to say, listen, bring in Guehi and fucking some other top centre-back, and bring in Isak and Barcola or Rodrigo. I just don't see that happening. Because at the end of the day, Mo Salah plays in this football team, and then it's 2 from everyone else. Do you know what I mean? And
We also have to think of 2 years' time. Like you probably need to be trying to get someone in to bed them in to be that replacement now. So you might be right, Gav, in terms of, right, so Engamo is 16, be 17 the end of this month. Right, he's your project. But then if you bring in someone that's 21, 22, that's just possibly about to light the touch paper, and they end up being your Salah replacement, their understudy. I think that's what you might be looking at doing as well. Or even send Chiesa to Parma as part of the Leone deal. Go and play for his daddy's club.
well, I listen. It'll be interesting to see, as always, what happens in the next days, weeks.
I think Guehi and Isak are as good as done. So I think you're probably really only looking at doing 2.
Before we go, can we talk about Isak? Because Luke Edwards, head of the Luke Edwards Ultras, the journal, has had an absolute fucking mare over this. Oh, it's been really enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, but Jesus Christ, like Eddie Howe was sitting there going, look, I can't really, I don't know, and kind of not letting him go to the family day. He's not training. The word is now he's being banned from training. That's the latest fucking thing I've read now. And Luke Edwards out there going, no, not for sale. The owners have said he's not for sale. And then he says something different 2 hours later. This was yesterday. And then today he says something else, and then he qualifies it an hour and a half later with something different again. And I'm like, what is going on here? He feels like your man. Do you remember your man that was refusing to believe that McAllister was signing for Liverpool? Like, literally, as McAllister was at Liverpool signing for them.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? What do you think the purpose is? This fella just looking like, as Shawnee always says, look, don't be worrying about it. The fella's putting these out. He has a blue tick. He's making his few bob off it. You know, fair fucks to him. But it just seems to be, you know, if you had 2 journalists keeping one was saying, look, you don't really know what's going to happen here. And then one other journal going, they're actually leaning towards him staying and not selling him. But this seems to be over here, everybody going, listen, the player wants out and he's going to fucking get it. And he's over here going, no, not fucking hope. It's, again, it just comes off as fucking weird from the Newcastle side and all this. It's like, I don't even know what to make of it.
Davey T hits a nail on the head there, and as a resident Newcastle fan, and I'm sure you live up there, Davey. There, you're up there. You're
Yeah, he has all the woods. He knows all the woods and all.
He knows all the woods. I'll be the same pet big time, but it's. I'm assuming he's feet on the street up there. What's Boyka Grove? What's the feeling amongst Newcastle's fans? You see some of the crackpots online, and you think that you see Luke Edwards and Davey hits it there. Craig Hope has covered it really well, and that's the one that I've always leaned towards when looking at the update. Luke, your man Luke, what's his name? Luke fucking Taylor.
Edwards.
Luke Edwards, absolute mentalist.
Luke
He's
Taylor.
like an emotion.
Just making fellas up now.
I don't know. I seen something there and thought it was him, but he's just coming across as an overly emotional fan when he's talking. You know, he's got that sort of.
Davey T can see the ground from his house.
There you go. So I knew he was.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I knew he was a man on the street, but he just comes across like a teenage girl, you know, and I don't mean no offense to all the teenage girls out there, but he's very emotional and he's, you know, the owners are refusing to tell him, they've told him, absolute shite that he's coming out with, whereas Craig Hope has always been balanced in what he's been saying, and if you don't believe what they're saying, listen to what Eddie Howe was saying, because he's coming out and denying everything Luke Edwards is saying. Oh, the owners abandoned him. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I'm sure I'd have heard about that. You know, it's a mess up there. And in a way, I feel sorry for Newcastle's fans, right? And I genuinely do, because they've got that golden ticket of the ownership coming in, of being the richest club in the world. They're not allowed to spend with it. And I disagree, and I'm sure a lot of people disagree with the owners that they have. But from a fan's point of view, they've come from Mike Ashley, who was an absolute shy hawk of an owner. So they don't care who they have, and they're seeing with the investment that's coming in, they're seeing Alexander Isak coming, they're seeing Bruno Guimaraes, they're seeing Sandro Tonali, they're seeing all these Anthony Gordon, you know, they're seeing players coming in doing the business for them. And they're back in the Champions League, you know, they're a good club. They can't take that final step. They're not allowed to take that final step. And rightly so, in my opinion, as much as Davey will disagree with that, they can't be allowed to just go in and spend 500 million on a player. You know, the shit that was done years ago was stopped for a reason, and it's the right reason. But I feel sorry for Newcastle fans, because they're the fans of the club at the end of the day. They want to see their players stay. They want to see Alexander Isak staying at St. James's Park. But everything you're reading and hearing about it, it's just becoming more and more untenable. That he stays there, and everything they're saying, banning him from this, not inviting him to that, you know, it just, all the sound bites to me are that he's going to be coming to Liverpool. And if India's saying a bid is imminent in the next 72 hours, who are we to disagree, you know?
Yeah, that's the king.
I think it's possible for. I think what Newcastle are trying to do is they're trying to go from here to here too quick. Which is the way that really City did it, and that's what they're trying to copy. And obviously, everybody knows now why they can't do that. But I think that this is their moment where they can build. So they sell Isak, they bring in the profit. Obviously, amortization, whatever. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that one. Turns into about 400-500 million in spending.
It opens a big
door
for them,
doesn't it? You build your team. So nobody's saying that Newcastle won't get there, but I don't think they're going to get there as quick as the fans want to. And actually holding on to Isak. And I know I'm a Liverpool fan and I really want to sign Isak, but even neutral will tell you, holding on to him probably does more damage to their progression than actually selling him. Well, I know that's hard to believe because he's your best player and whatever, but
look at Coutinho.
I agree with that. You see, I agree with that now, right? Yeah. But I think if they'd have put this to bed in mid-June, early July, and said he's not fucking going, end of story, you've more time to get the player to reintegrate and all, like he's at the being like whenever I hear that word, I think of like Tom Hanks on the island and he has to reintegrate into life after being missing for 10 years or something. It's I agree with that right now, because the damage that's being done is, and listen, let's be honest, Alexander Isak isn't innocent in all this, right? The word is that he told him he wanted to go 6 months ago, and that's fine. But Alexander Isak, there's no doubt Alexander Isak is doing a few fucking snide things to make this happen as well. Mainly because I'd say he probably thinks, look, they were fucking told about this, and they're still fucking dragging their heels on it. And maybe that red tinted glasses on me there, but that's what it feels like. It feels like they knew about it. And to be honest with you, I don't love lost for Eddie Howe. I don't really like him. The fact that all his teeth are triangular really fucking annoys me. Yeah. And I'm not as big a fan, but I actually feel sorry for him in this instance, because Eddie Howe screams of a guy, right, that's being told in the background, Eddie, just keep fucking going with the line. They all know you're waffling, right? They all know you're lying. But we have to keep going until we get somebody in here. We have to make somebody somewhere believe that Alexander Isak might be staying in Newcastle, so we don't get robbed when we're trying to buy players. And he's sitting there going, yeah, look, I'd do that yesterday if I could. Yeah, but Eddie, he's not training with us. So would the first step not to be to let him back into training if you wanted to keep him? You know what I mean? And it just doesn't work. And he's going to go, and some of the coverage is being mad. Waldo there, I left that comment on screen because he might be a Newcastle fan, says the majority think he's gone but want what he's worth, nothing less.
And that's fair. I think that's fair.
He's not worth 150
He's not
million.
worth 150 million. That's the next thing. Yeah, he's not worth 150 million. But to them, he's worth money. But what's happening is he's not going to be worth that money. And I think if you look at what other players are going for, I think if Liverpool were to get him for around 120 million, I think it's a fair price. It's too much. I've said all along, I wouldn't have signed Isak. He wouldn't have been my choice. I'd have gone for Julian Alvarez for that money. I stand by that. If we get Alexander Isak, I won't be too disappointed. But it's really harsh, They we think Waldo might be a Newcastle fan based on that. That's fair enough. You get your value for your player, but you're missing an opportunity. And what I find with Newcastle is, and it's been said on other shows, I've seen it numerous times, they fucked up with the setup. So Man City came in and Chicky Begiristain and Ferran Soria were brought in, and they were put there to sort out in the above the football inside what was to be done. Newcastle are changing sporting directors and directors of football and all this shit. They've nobody to do the business for them there. They brought in a lad as a technical director there a few weeks ago. I don't think he's a football. I didn't know him from a football sense. Someone said Eddie Howe's cousin or something is doing the Knicks for them on that side of things as well. And it just seems a mess to me where Newcastle are. So, Saudi Arabia, we all know the PIF or whatever, they own Newcastle, they control them. And to me, there's I don't want to say an arrogance, but there's a narcissism maybe with them, in the sense, if you're a royal family from a country like that, you get everything you want and you don't get told no. And what I can imagine is happening is they don't want to be selling them, or they don't want, and this is just guesswork, they don't want them to go and, no, we're going to make it awkward. Eddie Howe would rather just get this out of the way and get this done so he can get players in and get the money and say, look, this is where we go and we build it again. To me, it doesn't look like they have any vision for
I think the club are in the same position. But I think the way they've played it, they've pissed on their own chips here. The way they've played it is they're now in a position where they're going, we know this player's gone, but we have to keep fucking saying all this bullshit over here, which makes us look worse, not only to Alexander Isak, to some of our fans, to other people, but also possible players coming in. Do you know what I mean? Because if I'm a player, like, take Sesko last week. Sesko's 23 years of age or something, 22 years of age. Benjamin Sesko's sitting there going, right, Newcastle's not my absolute destination. But if I go in there and I bang goals for 2 seasons, if I score 70 goals in 2 seasons for them, and I turn around and go, lads, I'm after banging 70 goals. I got in the Champions League twice. We've won another cup. But I want to go and play for, let's say, Manchester United, right? And he's looking there going, if I sign for them, this could be me in 2 years. This could be me in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not having that. I'm not having it. Do you know what I mean? I'm simply not having it. And that's literally, I think, what's happened, because they've dragged this on. Now, listen, we are, as fans, we all want to keep players. We've had it with Coutinho. We had it with Suarez. You know, we've had it with numerous players, right? But Torres, you know, we want to keep players. But at the same time, the club know what's happening here. They know what they've told the player. They know what the agreements are with the player. And they know it's a bit like when you're trying to sign a player. You don't ring a fella 1 week and go, is he available? I'll have him. There's loads of legwork goes in over months and months. The same with an exit. If he wants to out, he'll let them know he's wanting out. Do you know what I mean? And they could have done this really easily, in my opinion. At the start of the summer, they could have went in and went, we're signing Visse to be a backup to Alexander Isak, right? And then they sign him and they go, right, that's good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go and sign Sesko. Out of the blue, no one fucking say nothing. We're signing Sesko because we're selling Isak. And everyone wouldn't have dragged out like this, and people wouldn't have looked as bad as they do, because whether Newcastle are right or wrong, they've come out with this looking terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And it's
really
to possible players is what they look worse.
I think that's what they were trying to do with Ekitike.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But you see, if you're going to go in and sign Ekitike and no one hears about it and you want it done, you don't go in and offer 80 million euros. And you don't go in with the structure that they went in with. They were torn down immediately because of the amount of they offered and the structure they wanted to pay. And
James
that's what the
Trafford,
problem is.
they're caught him for 2 years, and Man City just come in and take him back.
So,
You know,
I think
a club like Newcastle always have to, I think, overpay, because while we've always said it's difficult getting players and their wives, especially our girlfriends, to move to Liverpool as opposed to London or even Manchester. Newcastle will be tougher as well again. So you have to go, and they're hamstrung on the financial fair play or PSR rules in what they can offer them wages. So they're really fucked. They can't just throw the money. Scott Robinson said it there. They kept him for Sesko when it was clear that he didn't want them, and that'd be going back a long time. Ekitike apparently talked to Liverpool months ago. They're getting too many rejections, and it's just bad PR after bad PR, and that happens in football. But when the spotlight is on you, it looks 10 times fucking worse.
But it's bad.
You know what I mean? They just can't get anything over the line.
But it's bad rejections because they haven't put the work into Ekitike or Sesko. What they've done is they've literally fucking stood there since the end of the season with their fingers in their ears going blah, 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 when anyone mentions Isak. And then turns around and they're going to players, and players are going, I never fucking knew you were interested in me. You're only doing this now because of Isak. And he's not even allowed to go to family day. He's not even allowed to go and have a burger and chips with the lads. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? He's not allowed to train with them. But this club are trying to tell you that they'd love to keep him and they'd love to sign a new deal and stay for another year. Stay for another year. What happens after the year? What happens then? Am I not allowed to go paintballing next year with the lads? What happens? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and these players that are possibly coming in are going, you didn't want that to do with me 3 weeks ago. Right? But if you'd have put the work in from February or March and saying, listen, we think Isak's going to go, we want you to be our man, blah, blah, you might get it done. Now they're just running around with money, throwing at people going, would you want to come and play for us? And going, no, I don't. Because I could be the next Alexander Isak at Newcastle, and that's what it's going to end up with. Not a fucking chance. Do you know what I mean?
They should have took Nunez as part of a deal for Isak, and people laughed at it, and I've seen a lot of their fans turning their nose up at it. Nunez would be like a god up there. If he just got away from Liverpool, scored a few goals with his work rate, he's looked sharp, a number 9 that works his bollocks off, he would be made for Newcastle. And with a Visse there as well, it would have been good business. But they just lose. There's been so many good forwards available this summer, but the price has been high. Look at Osimhen. Osimhen's gone to Galatasaray for something like 70 million euros. The previous record of a Turkish signing was like 15 or something. Like, it's ridiculous, the money that's involved. But these players cost big bucks now. So if Newcastle are hemming and hawing about paying the top whack for the top players, they need to look at the next pool of players. Now, who they are, I don't know. But if they go and visit, Ollie Watkins constantly getting talked about for a move somewhere, like, push forward on him. But they're older players, they're 29.
But you see, this is the problem.
Muani, were they not in for him?
Muani.
Yeah, Muani, and then they're looking at,
they're in for everybody.
and then they're looking at the young lad. Is it? It's not Marseille, is it? Oh, I can't remember his name. No, he's with Porto.
Oh, Samuel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Samuel.
But the thing is, you can't sign Vissa and Watkins. The reason is they're both 28, 29, and there's no resale on them. If you're going to sign a Vissa, you need to sign a young player. So Sesko would have fit. But you're signing Sesko with a resale value. But then when it comes to the resale value, they're going, no, we want you to stay. Do you know what I mean? And we're putting £150 million in you.
Matt with a great one there in the chat. Newcastle end up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Eric Choupo-Moting. That's the way it's going.
If you need an agent to get you a move, Choupo-Moting, Jesus Christ, his agent is unfucking believable. But look, this is gonna. I would expect Liverpool, I think, and Newcastle probably have to do something on this in the next couple of days, and just come clean on it and go. He's moving. If you're banning him from training grounds and all sorts of stuff, he's going. And Newcastle just have to hold their hand and go, yeah, we do have money to spend. Right, and we're going to bring these in, and you'd hope from a Newcastle point of view, from Davey T and Waldo, I think might be a Newcastle fan, from their point of view, that they have got a little bit of work done on somebody to get them in, and they go from there. But Eddie Howe is just all over. I say Eddie Howe is like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've another fucking press conference to do now on fucking Thursday, and say he's melted over. So they probably want it done before he gets in to do that. And
can you not get his mate to do it? The one that's always looking to get in front of the camera. Here, you're up now, bleeding suntan merchant.
Oh yeah. Better
you
time than you he has.
Go that far.
Sas Cowboy says set your fancy lineups, people. Yeah, if you're a fancy football person, make sure to get involved in them. You see them. I think our Telegram is doing one in our members Telegram. That brings me on nicely though. If you want to join our Patreon, you can. Patreon.com/Talkin Kop. Try it for a month. If you like it, great. If you don't, absolutely fine. We're not gonna argue with you or give out to you. There's a couple of shows a week on in there, and that will go up when the season starts, when we start bringing video clips and highlights and all sorts of stuff in. We've deliberately kind of kept our schedule kind of light-ish for the last couple of weeks, but when the season starts now, we're going to sit down, we're going to do out our schedule, and we're going to bang away at that every week. Also, sponsor of the show tonight is NordVPN, so as the season starts, you know how this works by now. If you need a VPN, if you want to watch them games that you can't access in your country, or you want to stream services that aren't available in your country, NordVPN works for you, because you can go and you can put yourself in any country in the world. It's secure. You don't have to worry about dodgy local fucking broadband or Wi-Fi. It's secure in that way. And listen, if you have a couple of kids running around and they all want to watch stuff from all over the world, if every subscription covers 10 devices, and on top of that, you're getting 4 months free if you're signing up for a 2-year deal. So it's really, really good. If you use the link in the description as well, that helps us out. So if you're considering a VPN, try NordVPN, and the link is in the description, which helps us out. That's about it. Anything else before we go?
Quick one. Benny asks, first sacking of the season. Who do you think it is? Daniel Farke must be in the mix for this.
Leeds.
They tried to get rid of him before the other season ended.
Well, he's a championship manager. And I keep telling Joe Wayman this, and Joe was like, "No, well, if he comes in," I'm like, "Joe, I'm telling you,
sack him manager. As soon as you win promotion. Just get rid of him." Keith Andrews is a shout by Ashley there, the Brentford boss.
He's only new in the door. I think they might give him a bit of time. I'd have to look at the league.
Who else came up?
I usually look at West Ham because they're mad. But I think they'll give Potter a bit of time.
Thomas Frank will want to get a few players in.
I'll tell you who could be under severe pressure. Right, I'm gonna put it out there. Man of Villa.
Unai Emery?
Yeah.
Nah, stop it.
I'm telling you. I actually think if you're saying sacking, I don't know, departure, I think he might have enough. I think they've done fuck all this summer, and all they've been.
He brought in a striker, didn't he?
Striker yesterday.
Yeah, but that's it.
I don't even know his name.
Or something.
I think I've a little feeling on Unai Emery. Someone says Amarim there. Now Amarim's basically told everyone that he's staying for 20 years. He's having the crack, and he loves it. So there you go.
And according to most in the media, Liverpool finishing 5th will be a good season this year because Manchester United are back. Arsenal have now fixed the only issue they had, so they're going to win the league as well. And Man City have only spent €65 this summer. ignoring the 500 million of shite he spent in January. But everybody else is brilliant except for Liverpool. So, look, all joking aside, Arsenal will be stronger. City will be stronger. Manchester United will be stronger. But they're not going to be winning. Even if they get the likes of Donnarumma now, why is he getting drummed out? You know what I mean? Like, it'll take a while for them to be getting back up. Amorim will be safe for a while, I'd say, but I think it'll be Fark that'll get the. But who else came up? Leeds.
Ashley says there, it'd be curious to see
Sunderland
how
and Burnley.
Hurzeler deals with all the news Brighton signings and his second season. That's a good one as well. Who come up?
I don't even know who the
Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds.
It's probably Peter Wright. Is Peter Wright managing Sunderland?
No, Sunderland's manager is what's his
Some
name?
French fella, is it?
Yeah.
Steve Malbranck.
I'll tell you now.
We don't even know who the Sunderland manager is. We don't give a bollocks who the Sunderland
Talk
manager
amongst
is.
yourselves there.
All right. Okay, no
All right,
problem.
Gav. Did you have a good day
Keith.
today?
Yeah,
I was at the horse show yesterday.
Oh, it was good,
Yeah, I was at the Preseason where they try to jump that big wall.
I love it.
Some girl
Love
won
it.
it. Unbelievable. So.
Some height to get up there, innit?
Yeah,
You're
got
looking for the
manager.
answer. Come on.
Sorry, I'm looking for it.
It's
here,
in the chat already. Regis Lebris.
That's him.
Never
Regis
heard of him.
Lebris.
Never heard of him. He's in the list for
Cyril
the sack
Regis'
race.
brother. So there you
And
go.
Scott Parker, isn't it, at Burnley?
Oh, Scott Parker. That's the answer. Fuck's sake. His jumpers just keep getting better and better looking, and he just gets sacked.
5 goals. Does he still wear them suits with the bleeding stripes on the, like a captain's armband on the side, or the jumpers?
I can't remember the name of that brand, but it's fucking expensive shit.
It is expensive shit, but it looks stupid.
Yeah, but you're getting all them payoffs as of being sacked. I'd say you can afford it.
Him and Redknapp are wearing it now. Redknapp's in Marks and Spencer's, isn't he? And Skechers.
Yeah. Jeez, he's fucking.
Now, is he?
What's happening to Redknapp? Being Frawley's gear next.
Yeah.
Frawley's.
Brandon says, God, did the girl jump the wall or did the horse? The horse should have won. Yeah, well, the girl was on the horse when the horse jumped the wall. It's fucking
cheeky monkey, isn't he?
It's
we used to get dragged to that religiously every year.
The horse show. It's a fucking brilliant day.
Yeah,
like,
brilliant.
Look, I have no interest in the horse. My daughter has. But geez, like the entertainment at it and all the fucking stalls and food and drink and everything, it's great day. Apparently a woman on a crutch that had an absolute meltdown because the toilets had to close because there was no water in them, and absolutely lost the plot. And yeah, everyone's just looking around like, going, what the fuck is wrong with her? But yeah, she was a fucking idiot. Anyway, anything else before we go, Emma?
No, well, no, really.
How many times have you yawned during this show?
I think Paddy Power had. I'm wrecked tired. I haven't had much sleep. I've been working very hard in my work trousers.
And your new haircut, your new military haircut.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Do you know?
No, don't like it.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
You look like someone that's you're gonna take up like chauffeur driving or something.
I've been meaning to do it for a long time. Look at the fullbacks are in advance.
Yes, I think the quiff hit a lot. You know, I think
would you not go off the Talking and get your hair done?
No, absolutely not. No.
Would you not?
Just embrace it.
Be more likely to get me old Nashers done, I had to say.
Yeah,
probably wouldn't go to Turkey though.
No. Do it here, would you?
No, Thailand. Thailand's a great spot.
Thailand. Fucking Thailand.
€35 for the composite.
He's looking up at we think he's messing, and he's
I'm pricing it and everything.
Veranda says it's a bit fuzzy, like a pen tennis ball.
Yeah.
Is that his head? I don't know.
It is, yes. Got a little.
Kloppo says, think Gav should have a Scouse afro. Get me haircut in the next day or two. So I won't be having any sort of afro. Thanks very much. But so nothing else anyway before you go. You finished that?
No.
Is that it, Emma? Nothing else?
Yeah, no. Leave it. It's 11:30. I want to go and watch an episode of Killing Eve. Have you watched it?
You'll be asleep 5 minutes into that, you fucking idiot.
No, I've food downstairs waiting on me, so I'll go sleep after that.
You fall asleep before food. You fall asleep on the way down the stairs.
I'll probably fall asleep halfway through me food.
Yeah, you will, 100%.
Yeah.
And then wake up and forget he does everything. Anything he's done in the last 12 hours, he just forgets. It's phenomenal. Keith, anything else?
No, all good. Good to be back. Looking forward to the season ahead. Looking forward to the Sunday nights ahead.
The Sunday nights ahead. Anyway, that has been Keith, Emma, myself, Gav. That's been the Sunday night show. And we will be with you throughout the week with transfer stuff and previews to the season. We're going to start looking at, we actually are going to start looking at the teams from around the league. Trying to work out who our managers are is going to be the first job, to be fair. But we'll be doing a couple of shows during the week. Some of them on YouTube, some of them on our Patreon, where we'll be looking at the teams around the league, what we think of them, signings they've made, incomings, outgoings, all that sort of stuff. And Liverpool kick off on Friday. I will be in Liverpool for that, so I'll be doing a couple of bits from Liverpool Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that'll be also on our YouTube and our Patreon, so look out for that. Thanks again to everyone for liking. 2 people didn't like tonight. I'm going to guess the 2 people were Luke Edwards, 100%, and Cyril Regis for being linked with Regis Lacroix or whatever his name was at Sunderland. So we apologise, Cyril, and we apologise to Luke. Look, you'd have every right to hit the unlike button because we gave you a bit of a hard time. Anyway, that's been it. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.